Zach, you were my best friend. We have known each other since preschool. I remember the countless times which you came to my house during high school. We would stay up all night, playing video games, doing whatever we wanted. I know we never planned on losing contact with each other after we graduated, but since we moved to different colleges, it just sort of happened. I remember the Christmas break of our freshman year when we both came home. We haven't seen each other in a while, so you came to my house again, and that's when you told me. You told me you had something to tell me. You told me that you had a series of coughing fits, and then you went to the hospital. One thing led to another, and before you knew it, you were being scanned for a whole bunch of things. I still remember when you looked at me and told me, I have stage 3 lung cancer. It's inoperable, and I only have a few more months to live. Of course, since we always joke about things, I thought you were just messing around, but you weren't. You told me there was a small chance of chemo helping, but it wasn't guaranteed. You had to at least try it, right? I mean, you weren't just gonna sit around and let me watch my best friend die, were you? Because you were so sick, we both decided to stay home for the rest of the semester. After a few weeks, you told me that your health was gradually getting worse. You would wake up in the middle of the night having terrible coughing fits. Once chemo began, it wasn't long until you started losing your hair. You were dying quickly, and as much as you were trying to deny that fact, it was true. Your mood changed too. Whenever you came over to my house, you didn't act the same. We didn't laugh as much, and you didn't crack as many jokes as you used to. I think all those shooting games we played helped to relieve the pain, but even those you lost your temper at. Then came that day when you were at my house, and we decided to make a run to the store. As we were walking back home, it happened.
You're gone. Everything is different now. Nothing's the same. Sometimes I look over to ask you a question, you're just not there. Getting through the day is really hard. I got home from work, and you told me you had ovarian cancer, and that you didn't have very long. And then the chemo, even if you were going to do it, wouldn't give you very much life. So you decided that that wasn't your choice. So you just try to take your mind off of it. Try to laugh. Try to remember the good things. And even in those times, it didn't always work. The littlest thing could trigger the reality of the situation. Trying to discuss what we were going to do after you passed. So hard. How do you, talk about that? You're still sitting there. Sometimes all we could do was just hold each other. Near the end, you were just so tired all the time. And then one day I came to check on you and you were gone. And you're just gone. You're gone. When you got cancer, it's like I got cancer too. When you got your life sentence, it was like I got a life sentence too. When you died, it's like I died too. Because it was too late to fight your cancer while you were alive, I'm gonna fight cancer now. In your memory, to tell our story and keep your memory alive.
Hey Grandma, it's been almost 3 years since you died and things have really changed.
I still remember when I first heard that you were sick and in the hospital. It was on January 21st, 2011, and it was nighttime. And I remember my mom wanted me to go to the hospital to see you, but I didn't think it was going to be something as serious as cancer.
I remember when we came and visited you, you just looked so different. Your skin was jaundiced, you looked so much weaker, and the cancer really had taken an effect on you, and I didn't think that it would be this big event that changed our lives, but it was, and the entire time I was thinking it was just, we'd get through it and everything would be okay, but we were wrong.
I remember visiting you in the hospital, and I hated seeing you there. I hated seeing you weak and in pain.
Throughout the entire time that you were in the hospital, so many people came and visited you. People I never even knew existed, and it really showed how the cancer wasn't just hurting you physically, and it wasn't just hurting us mentally and emotionally, but it was hurting so many other people too, just because they didn't want to see you hurting.
And it just showed how many people you impacted.
And then there was that meeting, that March, not even 2 months after you were diagnosed, when we were told that you only had weeks to live. And it was decided that night that you would come live here at my house. And I think that was probably the best thing that we could have done. It wasn't really easy to see you deteriorate like that, just slowly dying every day. But even though it was probably one of the most painful things that could have happened to you, you never complained. You had every right to, but even though this cancer was tearing you up from the inside out, you cared more about others than yourself.
And you were still trying to make sure that everyone else was happy and make sure that everyone else was okay.
Then I remember that Monday night when you said you felt like you were going. And even then, it still didn't quite hit. It still seemed like you'd be okay and somehow we'd get through this.
I remember that Monday night, my family and I all came down here to John's house, and we spent the whole week here. We wanted to be there for your last days. And I remember when I first came here on that Monday, and my Aunt Nina said, "Michaela's here," and you looked up at me and told me, "You don't cry." That was one of the last things that you said to me. And I think it didn't feel real. It was like, is this really happening?
And I don't think it really clicked that it was all real until that Friday when you died, and we all were around you, and it felt so peaceful, even though this terrible disease had been eating you up for almost 3 months.
John and I were in his room playing Xbox, and his dad came and knocked on his door and told us to come out, that we needed to go out now. And we were all there to see you take your very last breath.
It was so weird because we always thought you would just be here all the time. We thought you would watch us graduate, watch us get married, watch us have kids, and watch them grow up and be their grandma. But obviously cancer decided to take that away from us, and it had other plans. It's so weird looking back at family pictures, and then suddenly after 2011, you're not in any of them.
I think that ever since you got cancer, it's opened my eyes to the disease. You know, before I would hear stories about people getting cancer and it never really meant anything to me. I just thought, oh, that sucks. But now when I hear stories about cancer, I really hurt for those people. I really kind of understand what they're going through.
Because of what you went through and because of what we had to go through while you were diagnosed, it's really made us want to fight back, and it's made us want to end cancer because we see the pain that other people go through, and we don't want them to have to go through what we did, and we don't want them to have to deal with their loved one being so hurt because of this disease inside of them that's just tearing them apart day by day. Your death has changed us a lot, and it's changed a lot of aspects of our lives, and we still go on day to day, but we still really miss you, and nothing can really fill that hole that you left. And because of what you went through, and because of what we had to go through with you, we want to share our story, and we want to help other people who are going through it, and we want to stand by them, and we all want to fight back to end this thing.